This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
A 47-year-old motorcyclist has died after colliding head-on with a four-wheel drive while travelling to Zeehan in the state's west. Police say around 1:20 p.m. yesterday, the male rider was travelling north on Henty Road from Strawn to Zeehan when the crash occurred. A report is being prepared for the coroner. The state's road toll now stands at 5 compared to 10 at this time last year. Witnesses are being asked to contact Crime Stoppers. An uninsured property in the state's northwest has gone up in flames, leaving its devastated owner hundreds of thousands of dollars out of pocket. While the official cause of the fire remains unknown, one witness claims the blaze spread from the kitchen before engulfing the property.
With shattered glass and blackened walls, this is all that's left of the Kindred Road home in Forth. A tragic sight for the owner, who was out with his wheelchair-bound child at Latrobe when the blaze began.
They are devastated, yeah. Very unfortunate situation. Fire
crews and police examined the scene this morning. The home is severely damaged and may need to be demolished.
Oh, just smoke. It was just smoke everywhere.
Troy Davies was first at the scene. He was driving past when he saw flames coming out of the roof. Unsure if anyone was inside, he smashed through the front door and tried to put the fire out with a garden hose.
There was so much smoke and, trying to get in there to see if I could see anyone, but it was just too hard. So we just had the garden hose until the fire brigade got there. That's all we could do.
Fire crews were pulled from the nearby Forth Blues Festival to tackle the blaze. It took around 2 hours before it was fully extinguished. Firefighters say it's a reminder to be prepared.
We've got working smoke alarms in the premises, gives the occupants an early warning in this case no one was home and was called in by a passerby.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
An advice-level bushfire is currently burning near Kempton in the state's southern Midlands. At least a dozen tankers and multiple aircraft are at the scene. Although there is no immediate threat to properties, smoke may affect traffic on the Midland Highway. The Tasmania Fire Service says residents in the area should remain vigilant. New Labor leader Rebecca White says it's majority or bust at the next election, effectively ruling out deals with minor parties to get her over the line. While the Premier disputes claims his side of politics is attacking the new leader, Will Hodgman has another fight on his hands. That's getting Canberra to notice Tasmania's energy potential.
The campaign bells are ringing at Labor HQ. Rebecca White ready to rumble in Rumney, rolling out upper house candidate Sarah Lovell. And she only wants top prize, saying another Labor Greens power share is off the table.
And we've also got really clear party rules now that rule out us doing any kind of deal.
The trophy in sight for Will Hodgman is, of course, to stay in government. But before that, he needs to allay speculation his party is in attack mode.
I don't think it's an attack to point out someone's inexperience, to point out the fact that there's division in the Labor Party. They've just changed leaders. It's the third one in 3 years. Clearly they're not stable.
The Premier says there's no alternative plan or budget from Miss White to bring Tasmania forward. And with Braddon in the balance on a recount, Miss White is similarly tight-lipped on her shadow cabinet.
My hope is that Shane Broad will be elected to the Tasmanian Parliament for the Labor Party in Braddon.
From one charged campaign to another in Canberra, Energy Minister Matthew Groom will head to the capital tomorrow to promote Tasmania as the nation's power plug.
And what happened earlier this year, where there were blackouts in other states and instability across the NEM, shows that Tasmania has a great opportunity to be that renewable energy battery.
It follows the Prime Minister's $2 billion commitment to Snowy Hydro last week. Part of our pitch, a second Basslink interconnector, additional hydro storage, even wind farms to bulk up our capacity.
We think that Tasmania is very well placed to leverage off what is one of our great competitive advantages, renewable energy.
And the latest visitor numbers are out. A record 1.2 million people came to the Apple Isle last year, injecting more than $2 billion into the local economy. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Celebrations were in full swing this afternoon, with Hobart festival goers embracing all things Greek. Thousands of people indulging in an array of delicacies as local students put on a show.
The main aim is to bring Greek culture to the greater part of Tasmania. It's a wonderful multicultural day. We have everybody's invited to participate and learn all about Greek culture and Greek heritage.
The event now in its 24th year. Members of the Vox Harmony City of Launceston Choir are warming up their vocal cords for a performance with a cause. Guided by an award-winning director, the choir hopes to help those doing it tough on the streets of Launceston.
Joining in harmony to shine the light on some of the state's most vulnerable. The choir is aiming to help those in need as they prepare for the Tasmanian premiere of Street Requiem.
We are doing this with the choir, Jonathan Welch's choir from Melbourne, and all of the proceeds will go to City Mission for their work with the homeless on the streets of Launceston.
Conceived by Dr. Jonathan Welch, the piece has been performed around the world, starting the conversation on tackling homelessness.
Just hum the first chord for me, and
this performance will be an opportunity for us to not only honour those people who've died innocent and homeless on the streets, but also to help support the wonderful work of City Mission here through the fantastic work of Vox Harmony and the work that they're doing in the community through music.
The composition hoping to get communities reflecting on how they deal with street violence and a reminder that all life is valuable.
It's been a real privilege to have the opportunity to not only write, co-compose the work, but for it also now to go around the world.
The choir will perform at the Door of Hope on April 22nd. Judy Augustine, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian clown doctors have been flooded with community support by the 2016 Bordy Panto team, which today presented the proceeds of its 14th annual production to the Humour Foundation.
That's absolutely. We believe they do a really wonderful job Australia-wide, just bringing joy to kids, and we all know that the link, if you will, between humour and laughter and wellness, so it's a really important charity.
Ticket sales from Bordy Panto's Jack and his Giant Stork raised over $4,000, with all funds going to help sick children. Tasmanian families raising twins, triplets or even more have been encouraged to seek support at a picnic in the park for Multiple Births Awareness Week. Today's event aiming to inform parents of the support networks available while celebrating the highs and lows of parenthood.
When you have twins, it can be pretty confronting and a really difficult time learning how to cope with having two babies at the same time. So it's really important to be able to have a social network of other people in the same situation as you.
This year's theme, Born a Multiple, also an individual, focuses on the uniqueness of children from multiple births.
Tasmania has suffered its most embarrassing defeat yet in its final Sheffield Shield clash of the season. With a chance for a draw or even a season-ending win, the Tigers bottled it. Joe Menny and Dan Worrell feasted with the ball, the home side losing 4 for none at one point to be all out before the lunch break.
A draw was a realistic proposition entering day 4. A win would have been spoken about, but even after a season from hell, not even the most cynical Tigers fan would have predicted a 193-run loss.
But yeah, it's not ideal, is it? To get bowled out in just over a session is totally disappointing and unacceptable.
Unable to back up the bowling effort of debutant Gabe Bell, the Tigers batsmen wilted as they attempted to chase 300. 3 players made ducks, a further 4 recorded single-digit scores. Tim Payne and number 11 Sam Rainbird, the only 2 to show anything at all with the Willow. The wickets of both openers sparking a horrible collapse.
Driving on the up, both of them, and then no one really put their hand up after that.
Tasmania all out before lunch. The loss sees the side go winless at home for season 2016-17. All players will now come under review this week. It's a frustrating defeat for interim coach Richard Allenby, who's put his hand up for the top job. He could do nothing but watch as his side was obliterated.
It's all about performance for them. It's their careers, and yeah, maybe it's our careers as well, but you know, they're playing the game.
Redbacks bowlers Joe Menny and Dan Worrell cashing in on the Tigers' inability to handle a moving ball. They each took 4 wickets, Menny's 9-wicket haul across both innings earning him the Player of the Match award.
Hobart boxer Luke Jackson has his sights set on a world title. His camp keen to take the step onto the global stage following his 14th consecutive professional win last night in front of a packed City Hall in Hobart.
Last night's main event wasn't much to write home about, but that didn't bother hometown hero Luke Jackson. who claimed his 14th consecutive professional win over African amateur champ Mohamed Kambruta in Hobart. Team Jackson now eyeing off a world title fight, potentially for the WBO featherweight crown held by Mexican Oscar Valdez.
Right now, the best fight out there for him is Oscar Valdez, who's the current world champion. 100%. That's all we see. We chase the number one, and Oscar Valdez is number one in our division.
Before that, though, a bout with fellow Australian Joel Brunker looks likely. It's a fight the team has long desired.
I beat him 3 times in amateurs. Joel's a great fighter. I respect him, but his trainer needs to stop talking and then let the fighter do the talking.
Kambruta was outgunned from the outset last night. A lean, mean Jackson didn't land the power punch he'd earlier predicted, but he didn't need to. Superior stamina was the winner on the night. Kambruta's camp throwing in the towel after the 5th round. Their fighter was done, Jackson victorious by technical knockout.
I would have killed that guy if they left him in there, so they've done a good job getting him out.
Earlier, Jaden Plugger Joseph scored a devastating knockout win over Devonport's Nick Rundle. The burly Hobart local pouncing on an opening in the 3rd round, connecting with a vicious rising right hook that sent Rundle straight to the canvas. But it was the first Tasmanian title fight in 40 years where punters got their money's worth. Nat Triffett dominated Stephen Maxwell in the curtain raiser, but Maxwell's iron jaw and will was something else. Somehow a gallant Maxwell went the distance, a full 8 rounds without being felled. The judges rightly awarding the fight to Triffett, who was crowned Tasmanian champion.
The Premier League hockey season is officially underway with the opening round of games played this weekend. Friday night saw the grand final rematch between OHA and Derwent. It was OHA claiming bragging rights, keeping Derwent goalless and bagging a 3-0 win. Northwest grads held off Diamondbacks, who scored 2 goals in the final 4 minutes to make things interesting, but it wasn't quite enough to avoid a 4-1 defeat. While 2016 Spooners Canterbury are off to a flyer, upsetting University 3-1. In the women's, OHA and Diamondbacks earned opening round wins, while University and Canterbury fought out a draw. Meanwhile, in the NPL Tasmania, South Hobart have made it 2 from 2 to start their season. They easily accounted for Northern Rangers at Darcy Street. Ben Hamlet scored twice for the home side amongst 4 individual goal scorers. South simply a class above, running out easy 5-0 winners.
Fine and mostly sunny across the state today. Hobart reached 32 degrees, which was the state's high. It was 27 in Launceston, 23 in Burnie and 24 in Devonport. Ouse and Campania also reached the state's high of 32. It was 29 at Strawn and King Island, 28 at St Helens and Friendly Beaches, 26 at Lyowini and 23 degrees at both Low Head and Wynyard. From the satellite, we can see a band of mid to upper cloud crossing the Bight, some mid-level cloud over southern Queensland and New South Wales, and thunderstorms over the north and east of the mainland. On the close-up, a clear day across the state, aside from some low-level cloud about the north. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the chart shows a high-pressure system in the Tasman and south of Western Australia. There's also a low-level trough to the east of Tasmania and a monsoonal trough sitting over the top end. Variable winds in the north tending south to southeasterly through the morning. Northwest to southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots elsewhere and swells to 3 metres in the west and south. A shower or 2 for Hobart tomorrow, 21 degrees, the same for Dover, Ouse 26. Launceston partly cloudy with a top of 28, 24 and partly cloudy for Devonport, and a mostly sunny 26 for Scottsdale. Burnie 23 degrees, partly cloudy, Strawn 24, Stanley 21. Partly cloudy and 22 degrees for St Helens, a shower or 2 for Swansea 21, Ross 25. UV high 7s to very high 8s around the state. Looking ahead to Tuesday now, showers in the south and east with some rain developing in the far northwest in the morning and extending over the north in the afternoon. Wednesday, rain in the northeast easing to showers in the early afternoon, showers for the rest of the state also. Thursday, possible showers in the southeast and along the coastline, contracting to the southeast coast in the early afternoon. Around the country tomorrow, showers for Brisbane 29, possible afternoon showers in Sydney, a top of 28, and humid with showers and a possible storm for Melbourne.
Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Join Joe Palmer and the team tomorrow night at 6. Have a great week. Good night.